Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are back with another makeup tutorial. I'm super excited about this one. We are going full in with cut crease action, smoky liner, and everything. So let's go ahead and get into this look. I started off using the Louise base in Rumour number 4. I'm first gonna carve out my brows, and I'm also using this to prime my eyes, so I'm making sure to spread it all over the eye area. Then I'm gonna switch to a fluffier brush and pat it down so that way it can start to set. Next, I'm gonna go in with some setting powder. This one is from Bakerie. This is their flower powder in the shade Yellow. I'm only using a tiny bit of this powder to set the outer edges of my eyes. So that way when I go in with eyeshadow later, it's a lot easier for me to create that blurred effect on the edges of my eye look. For shadows today, I'm first going to be using the Louise Secret Center palette. I'm really excited to finally have this palette on camera. I love the color story of this palette. It's so beautiful and all the colors are super pigmented. So to start off this look, I'm going to be using the shade Infatuation, which is this hot pink shade. I'm applying this onto the crease first using a Morphe M506. And as I'm applying it, I'm going to also wing it out on the outer edge to create that nice winged shape. So when we do our cut crease, everything kind of moves together in the same direction. Then to blend that out, I'm going to be using the shade Rumour, which is this lighter pink type of color. I'm using a clean Morphe M506 brush, and we're just going to make sure that there's no like harsh lines and everything is nice and soft and diffused. So at this point, I wanted a little bit more smoke to this look, so I'm gonna go ahead and use a darker shade to deepen up the crease. This is Love Shy from the same Secret Center palette. I'm using a smaller brush for this step. This is a Morphe M507. It's slightly tapered. I love using this brush for like these winged out looks because if you're really careful with it, it can give you like that perfect like point at the edge. But yeah, I'm gonna use that brush to apply that shadow onto the crease. And then if you need to, you can go back in with the same brush that you used to apply Infatuation and blend that out so there's no harsh lines. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting the crease. I wanted to do a really dramatic cut crease today. I'm using the Louise base again. This one is Rumour number 0. So I bought this base specifically to do cut creases and to have on the lid because I find that when I use a white base for my lid colors, all the shadows turn up like brighter and more vibrant that way. You can honestly use like any white eyeshadow base to do this part. You can even use a white concealer. But yeah, I'm just gonna use that to cut the crease and just make sure you take your time, make sure your lines are nice and straight, and don't forget to blend out that outer edge so that way when you put on your foundation and everything later on, everything kind of blends in a little bit more seamlessly. Then to set that, I'm going to be using a white eyeshadow. You can use any white eyeshadow. I'm using this one from the Morphe 35B palette, and I'm going to press that on top of the base to set it and also just to make the lid space wide. So now I'm going to start working on the liner. I first went in with Colored Raine's Vivid Bright Shadow in the shade Level Up. It's like this grass green type of color. And I used a tapered brush. This is the Morphe M507 to start smoking out the liner. This brush is a lot more tapered, so it's going to make it easier for me to apply the color without having to get it all over the place. I'm just going to go ahead and apply that color first onto the lash line and just kind of drag it out towards like the end of the cut crease. Then to deepen it up a little bit more, I wanted to go in with Squad. Still green, but a little bit darker. It's gonna just make the liner a little bit more smoky and kind of give it some extra drama. And I also added some black eyeshadow directly onto the lash line to give that illusion of a fuller lash. And then I went back in with that same brush that I used to apply Level Up and just kind of drag it over all of the colors so I have that really nice gradient effect. Then to clean up, I used a makeup wipe and then added some more of that Louise base to sharpen up the liner. At this point, you just want to go ahead and pull out your favorite mascara to prep for falsies. I'm using Lancome's Hypnôse Drama Mascara, and I'm just going to apply that so that way my false lashes blend into my natural lashes a lot easier. Then for falsies today, I'm using the Tatti lashes in the style TL Mitchell. If you're into like more of a dramatic lash, I definitely recommend that you guys try these out because they're amazing. They're so cute and I love them. I've been using them for like every single makeup look. I'm going to use a pair of tweezers to apply them and then go back in with my lash curlers to press the falsies together with my natural lashes to blend them in. So now I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. I'm using Anastasia's Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Ebony. So for my brows, I've been doing more of a sculpted look, but not too sculpted to the point where it looks like really crazy. So I do a line at the bottom, a line at the top, and then I create little brow hairs in between to give the illusion of like a fuller brow. So it's kind of like what I was doing before, like with my more natural brow, except the two lines at the top and the bottom create more of like that sculpted effect. So that's pretty much what I've been doing with my brows. And yeah, then I'm gonna go ahead and move on to skin. To prime my skin, I'm gonna be using Rimmel London's Lasting Finish Breathable Primer. I've been loving these like moisturizing type of primers, and this is definitely one of those, but it still has like that blurring effect, so it works perfectly under like foundations and everything, especially since I have like larger pores, like kind of closer to my cheek area. And then to create like that luminous type of look underneath my foundation, I'm gonna be using an LA Girl liquid illuminator and just spread that all over my face, so especially on the forehead and the high points of my face to bring out that extra highlight. Then for foundation, I'm using Fenty Beauty's Pro Filt'r foundation in the shade 370. I'm using a Morphe G2 brush, which is kind of interesting because I used to use this brush to blend out my concealer, but I really love it to blend out my foundation. So that's what I've been using it for lately. I'm also going to use that foundation to kind of clean up the top of my brow. I don't really like to use like concealer because sometimes I feel like it's a little too heavy. So I'm just using a little bit of foundation on a flat brush just to do a little bit of cleanup if I need to, then blend it out using a smaller brush. Then for concealer, I'm using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Sucre d'Orge. This is a more yellow kind of golden undertone, so it's perfect for under the eyes. So I'm going to use it just for that, and also to conceal like the sides of my nose, the bridge of my nose, to brighten along the sides of my mouth and my cupid's bow because I tend to get a little gray there, and then on my chin as well. And I'm going to use a mixture of that small brush that I used to blend out the foundation on top of my brow, as well as the G2 brush to blend this out. Then to set my concealer, I'm gonna grab a little bit more of that Beauty Bakerie flour powder. To bring some color back into my skin and to kind of contour and bring some depth in there, I'm going to use this Becca bronzer in the shade Ipanema Sun. I'm using a very light hand with this bronzer because it kind of runs a little bit more on the red side for me. Although I do like the formula of this bronzer, too much can be like a bad thing for me when it comes to the shade. So I'm using a very light hand, but I'm going to apply that onto the cheekbones, a little on the forehead, underneath the nose, as well as the cupid's bow this time. It looks kind of weird right now, but I promise you when I apply like all my lip products, it'll kind of come together. From here, I'm going to move back onto the eyes to finish up the lower lash line and do like my inner corner highlight and everything. So I'm going to use all the shadows that I applied onto the crease on the lower lash line. And I'm going from darkest to lightest. So I'm going to apply Love Shy first, which is that deep kind of burgundy maroon type of color, and apply that onto the lower lash line using a small shader brush. And then I'm going to use Infatuation, which is the hot pink, and use that with a Morphe M507 to blend it out and kind of start smoking it out a little bit more. And then I'm going to use Amour, which is the lighter pink, with another Morphe M507 and use that to blend out Infatuation. Then to tie all the shadows into the waterline, I use the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Lip Liner in the shade Pop. Although this is a lip liner, I don't intend to use it for lips that I never have, so I thought it'd be cool to use it on my waterline as like an eyeliner, and I really like the way it came out. But just for caution, if you are going to use a lip liner as an eyeliner, make sure that you sanitize it first before you place it onto your eyes. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and apply some lash primer before I do my mascara. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Primer, and while that's drying, I'm going to add some inner corner highlight. I'm using a pigment from JDGlow Cosmetics. This is their HD Crystals pigment in the shade Sherbert, and then I'm going to go ahead and apply my mascara. To set my makeup, I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. This is the cherry scented one. I love this one so much. It smells so good. I just hate that it's in a travel size, and I really wish there was a full size one. I'm going to saturate my skin using my setting spray and then fan it dry. Next, I'm going to apply some highlighter. I'm using the Lancôme Starlight Sparkle Highlighter Palette, and the shade that I'm using from the palette is Sparkling Peach. I think this is a limited edition highlighter palette that came out for the holidays, so this one might not be like available after a while, but if you do like the shade, I think it's available like in a full size. I know for a fact that I'll be buying it soon because this highlighter is so pretty. I just went ahead and applied it on all the high points of my face, so on the cheekbones, a little on the tip of the nose and bridge, as well as the Cupid's bow and chin. Next, I'm going to go ahead and start lining my lips using this Kiss New York lip liner in the shade Coffee Brown. This is one of my favorite lip liners at the moment. It's super inexpensive too. I got it at my local beauty supply store for like $2, and it just works for a lot of different nude lip combos. So I'm lining my lips first, and then I'm making sure also to feather in the outer corners, so when I do apply my lipstick later on, everything kind of blends in a little bit more smoothly. Then to fill in my lips, I used a mixture of 2 different lipsticks today. I know it's like super extra. I use the matte lipsticks from Anastasia in the shade Honey and Soft Touch. Soft Touch is more of like a pinky type of shade, so I kept that color in the center, and then I used Honey on the outer edges. And of course, this wouldn't be a MakeupTiffanyJ makeup tutorial without some lip gloss, so I use the Peaches and Cream lip gloss in the shade Back Chat. This last step is completely optional. I just kind of did it as an afterthought. I'm going to use the Cover FX glitter drops in the shade Nova. I got this from a previous BoxyCharm, and I really love it because it's a little bit closer to my skin tone versus like the old Cover FX glitter drops I used to use. But I'm just taking a small amount of that and placing that right on the cheekbones there to give it that extra bit of intensity. And that's pretty much it for this look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this makeup tutorial. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much again for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next one.